And again, immediately to start thinking about what I should be doing, what's right for me to do with my meditation practice. But before trying to do anything, to change or guide the body and mind in any way, at the very beginning, let the ground of the meditation be awakened awareness itself. First of all, just feeling the presence of the body without trying to do anything with it. How does the body feel? Cool, warm, heavy, light, comfortable, uncomfortable? Any particular aches and pains that can be felt? Just notice, here is the body. In this moment, it feels exactly this way. It's like this. Not judging the body as being right or wrong in any way, but simply, directly noticing. Here are the sensations of the body. Its weight, its texture in terms of heaviness and lightness, roughness and smoothness, comfort and discomfort. Here it is. This is exactly how the body feels in this moment. What is the mood of the mind? How does the mind feel? Again, not judging how our mind should or shouldn't be, but to begin with a ground of awakened awareness, knowing this is what the mind feels like here and now. Whether it's sleepy or alert, sad and depressed, or excited, interested, enthusiastic, busy or quiet. However the mind happens to be, its mood in this moment. Notice that. Appreciate this is what the mind feels like right now. Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just here it is. So the ground of the meditation is awareness itself. This is the guiding, nourishing principle. With establishing this quality of awakened awareness, this knowing element as the basis, the ground of meditation, then let the feelings of your spine, your backbone, be at the center of attention. Notice how the back feels. Is it tense and rigid, stiff? find that you're slouching over, bent, and the body listless, slumping. But rather than trying to adjust the posture based on self-view and how I think I should be, how my back should be for me to practice meditation, and consciously let all those I's and me's and mine's be to one side. Let the awareness fully know the feelings of your spine. Let the awareness have its own effect, letting the body adjust, guided by awareness itself. So this is a very direct development of that, practicing Dhamma in accordance with Dhamma, trusting in awareness. So if your back is very stiff, rigid, tense, bringing awareness to that, feel that stressing, tensing quality. Feeling that, knowing that. Then notice how the body relaxes on its own. Slowly but surely, feeling that tension, knowing it, the system softens and settles. It's a self-adjusting process. The body is still sitting upright, but no longer tense and rigid. Similarly, if bringing attention to your spine, you notice that you're slumping, the body is bent forwards, slouching, rather than following that idea of, I've got really bad posture, I should sit up straight. Leave that kind of thinking to one side. Just let there be awareness of that slumped, slouching quality. Feel that, know that. Let the body adjust on its own. Let the awareness have its own effect. It's a self-adjusting universe, and awareness is the balancing agent, the integrative agent. Letting the body adjust on its own, feel how it straightens, the spine extending to its full, comfortable, natural limit. So the posture is upright, but free of stress. There's an easefulness, a settled quality, and also an alertness, an energetic quality at the same time. We can feel and know directly how energy and relaxation work comfortably, harmoniously together. Just like the Lord Buddha being totally awake and aware and totally peaceful, both at the same time. Trusting in awareness is trusting in that Buddha quality, taking refuge in awareness itself. And the result is alertness, peacefulness, and balance. For most people, the habit of the mind is to drift in one of two directions. When things go quiet, we're sitting still, then the mind can start to seek some kind of distraction. Thoughts, ideas come bubbling up in the mind. We remember something, we think of a plan for next week, start thinking about our friends, partners, children, parents, the working world, list of things to do. The mind chases after one thought, following another, following another. So, this is one direction that the mind easily wanders down, the habit of distraction, associative thought. The other direction is that of sleepiness and dullness. Everything's gone quiet, nothing much is going on, nothing to love, nothing to hate, nothing to fear, nothing to have an opinion about. So, the system just shuts down. It's time for a nap. Nothing dangerous, nothing interesting, nothing exciting. Okay, switch off. So these are very natural, deeply rooted habits of our minds. But just because something is natural doesn't mean to say that it's particularly useful or liberating. Our animal instincts are also natural. Fear, aversion, possessiveness. They're natural, but not helpful. So to support the mind in staying attentive to this present reality, knowing this present moment directly, then we can use a part of our experience, a field of perceptions, to help strengthen the attention here with the present reality. There are many things that can be used as such a meditation object, but the most accessible and effective for most people is the natural rhythm of our own breathing. We're all breathing, we're all alive. These bodies all breathe. So that's a continuous presence, the in-breath and the out-breath. It's not particularly exciting or interesting, so it takes a bit of effort to pay attention. But the breath always happens here in the present moment. So by attending to the breath, we're also training our heart to attend to this present reality, rather than drifting off into a remembered past or an imagined future. Therefore, then, we let the breath be at the center of attention, not as me doing my mindfulness of breathing practice, but the body's breathing anyway. Just let that be a gentle, steady presence that helps to remind. Just like the white lines on either side of a lane on the road. We don't need to obsess with them. We know they're there. They guide us as to which track to follow. Or a pathway around a lake in a park. Just let your feet follow the path. It's not a rigid or tense process. So let the breath be a gentle, guiding presence, like the white lines either side of us as we follow our lane on the road. The lines are there to help us get where we're going, to help us stay centered. That's all. So focusing on the in-breath and the out-breath, let that similarly be a gentle presence that helps the attention to stay alert, focused in the present. And if the mind drifts into busyness, chattering, getting distracted by thoughts, it's like drifting over the white line. Okay, notice that. Feel what that grasping at thought is like. And rather than, I should let go, I've got distracted again, I'm a failed meditator, just let the knowledge of the mind having followed the distraction have its own effect. And the letting go happens on its own. Not as a me-centered activity, but rather, just as when you're driving, if you drift over the right-hand set of white lines, you notice. So you turn a little to the left, get back into the center. Similarly, if the mind is getting sleepy and dull, rather than following the I should wake up, I've fallen asleep again, I'm really dozy. When there's the recognition of that dull, sleepy state, feel that, know that, the mind wakes up on its own. It's just as if we've drifted to the left, across the white lines to our left. We notice, so we turn the wheel a little to the right, get back in the center. It's natural, simple, direct. It doesn't have to be ego-centered, goal-fixated. Just letting the adjustments happen, all guided by awakened awareness. Trusting in that awareness, and then looking, feeling, knowing the results, simply balanced at the center, knowing this present reality. feeling the rhythm of the breath and reflecting on the theme for today. Each breath is like a life. The beginning of the in-breath is a birth. In childhood to adolescence to our middle years at the end of the in-breath. And there's the out-breath, aging, fading, till the end of the out-breath is a death, cessation. And there's a pause after the end of the out-breath for a moment. The breath is not moving. Then another in-breath begins, another birth, a life, another death. Feeling and knowing the rhythm of the breathing in this way, we're also feeling and knowing the cycles of our life, our lives, on a bigger scale. Living well, there's a mindfulness of that in-breath, the rising part of the cycle. Living well, living effectively, living wholesomely, knowing that rising part of the cycle. It's like this. And it reaches its peak, the end of the in-breath. Again, there's a slight pause at the breath filling the lungs, then the out-breath, the aging, fading, the breathing out process, again, dying well, letting the breath leave the body, moment by moment, until it's the end. The breath is left. The last of the carbon dioxide is gone from our lungs. It's the end. And then there's a pause, space, and the next breath begins. So this which knows the movement of the breath is not moving, it's ever present. It can be distracted or covered up. It can attach to the content of the feeling of the breath or the thoughts or sensations around it. But the more completely this quality of knowing can be unobstructed, clear, open. Knowing the breath, but not identified or attached to the breath. It knows the beginning, the arising, the turning point, the fading, the ending. And then the space after the ending, before the beginning. Of this awareness, this quality of knowing. It knows the breath, it knows the movement and change of perceptions, but itself is ever present, unaffected by the arising and fading, beginning and ending, birth and death. This which knows birth and death is not born and dying. This which knows the personal is not a person. It's aware. Even to call it an it is not quite accurate. It's not awareness is not a thing in the world of other things. It's the very quality of the heart that is the fabric of knowing. The basis of the experience of all of our lives. This awake, aware quality. It knows the comings and goings of the breath, of my words, the beginning and ending of each word, each sentence. But it's not limited by the objects it perceives. It knows the breath, it knows the sounds of the words, it knows the other feelings of the body, coming and going and changing. But in itself, this awake, aware quality is ever present. The Buddha refuge is awake, aware, knowing of the heart. It knows the world, is not attached to the world, not limited or burdened by the world. It is lokavitu, knowing the world, and lokutara, transcendent of the world. This is our heart, our citta. It has this quality. When there's a noticing of distraction, mind caught up with some train of thought, and that's recognized, feel that quality of grasping, that tensing, stressing of the heart, excited about next week, or worried about your list of things to do, replaying a conflict with your family member or in your workplace. Feel that. Know that quality of grasping directly, knowing it, feeling it, and letting the releasing, relaxing happen on its own, rather than me letting go of my problem, my conflict, my plan. Just let the awareness have its effect. Know that stressing as the mind grasps that memory, that idea, that emotion. Notice how the letting go happens on its own, just like a leaf falling off a tree in the dry season. It's not a plan, it's not a me letting the leaf go, but the season changes, the leaf fades, drops off in its own time. So the letting go happens on its own. You don't have to do it. And then when the letting go has happened, there's that relaxation of the heart. How is it? What's the tone, the texture of the present reality when there's no grasping? The heart awake to the present, knowing its own nature. Dhamma, aware of its own nature. There's spaciousness, brightness, simplicity, peacefulness. In the Thai language they have a very convenient set of words that flow together beautifully to describe this. Sawang, sa'a, sangok. Sawang means radiant. Sa'at means pure. Sangok means peaceful. So when the grasping stops and the heart is in tune with its own nature, which is really Dhamma aware of its own nature, the tone, the texture of that quality is purity, radiance, peacefulness. The heart is spacious, there's a simplicity. It's not an ecstatic kind of agitated happiness, joy, but a quiet contentment, a sense of reality, homecoming. Living well, dying well. That wellness manifests as these very qualities. The heart free of grasping is the essence of well-being. Pure, radiant, peaceful. It doesn't matter how many times the attention wanders and drifts. The present reality is like the most dependable friend. It's always here to come back to. So if the attention is caught and distracted 100 times, 200, 300, 400 times, 500 times, whenever that's noticed, feel that, be aware of that. Then with great kindness, gentleness, allow the letting go to happen. Watch the attention come back to the center once again. When there's distraction, a lack of mindfulness, then whoop, off it goes again. Right here is a demonstration of how, if there is heedfulness, the attention stays with the present reality. If there's heedlessness, pamada, then we get born into a sleepy feeling, a memory, a hope, an irritation, an anxiety. We're born with that, we die with that. So right here we can see the birth and death process and how deathlessness can be realized. Appamada amatapadan. Heedfulness is the path to the deathless. Pamada, heedlessness, is the path to death. You can see this, know this, exactly how it happens, moment by moment. And also, we can learn what to do about it, how that is, the habits of being born and dying can be changed. The heart can learn, can be trained. This is amazing, wonderful. The extraordinary capacity that the Lord Buddha recognized we all have. The heart can be trained to be awake, to be aware, to not be born and dying all the time, to be free of that bhava chakra, the wheel of becoming.